Hello everyone. Now this video is a revelation about rules of engagement in the spirit and in the physical. What takes place in the spirit manifests in the physical. Now, when Jesus was in the garden, he was praying, and because he came into agreement with Judas, Judas was allowed to betray him because he came into an agreement and covenant with Judas, and now Judas was able to operate and betray him. Now get that. It's not the ones on the outside, it's the ones in the inside you have to watch out for. Now, if you come into agreement with anybody with any evil intent, any ill intent, their walk is not right, they're, kind of crooked or whatever, but if you come into agreement, say family, friend, foe, or lover, now sometimes it's a lover. If you come into agreement with them and you don't really know what's going on behind their back, and they're hiding stuff from you, that is a big red sign, and a red alert to watch out for stuff like that, because you don't know the intentions behind that person. And they could set you up, they could have you get robbed, they could even have you set up and you could probably die, from whatever the ill intention off of the person. Sometimes it's not even them, but it's who's operating in them. Now, now Judas wasn't the one. It was the people who were operating in Judas. It was the Pharisees who were operating in Judas that wanted Jesus hung, that wanted Jesus crucified, that wanted Jesus dead. Judas, after he did what he did, he was in total regret of what he did, because after it was done, he finally, after the assignment was done, he came to his senses and realized he betrayed the Son of Man. And it was because he was under a trance, and he was under their control. He was under the Pharisees because he came into agreement with the Pharisees. The Pharisees had Jesus killed because he was in agreement with it. He came into agreement with it in the spirit, and that's how it manifests in the physical. Now, you have to watch out on who you come into agreement with, because that is how people operate in witchcraft and sorcery and magic and divination. It's all an agreement. If you have no agreements, they have no grounds. They have no territories. They have no lands. They have no opportunity. They have no opportunity to do any witchcraft on you. It is illegal, and it is trespassing in the spirit. So you wonder why your life's upside down, why things a mess, why things are not going the way it is. It's because somewhere, somehow, you made an agreement with someone or opened a door with somebody with ill intent towards you. Hey, they could smile in your face, they could call you sugar, they could call you baby, they could call you sweet talk you, do whatever they have to have you engage in them. And as soon as you open the door, boom, who comes in? Every opposition in your way. Why? Because you opened that door. And the door is a conversation. It could be a text message. It could be a phone number. It could be an email. It could be a mail. A letter. It could be a reminisce. Hey, I just wanted to hear from you. How you been? It could be something so simple as that. That's why you have to see who is really walking with God, and your discernment and your wisdom has to be on keen and on point on who's who and who's walking with God, and who's in and out, and who's lukewarm, and who's totally the opposite in the other. You know, I wish them the best, but I just don't engage with those type of people because I don't know what intentions they have behind me. And and the truth is, when your eyes open up and your ears hear, and your senses and your discernment and your wisdom is keen and on point, you're able to discern who's walking with God and who is not. Now, Jesus was no mind reader or a psychic, but he knew with his discernment and his wisdom, he knew who would betray him. Why? Because he seen the walk with Judas, and he seen it wasn't walking right, fully on walk. Now, now, when he was in the garden, he was praying in the garden, and before, now because he had an agreement, he made an agreement with Judas in the physical and in the spirit, they were able to have access to Jesus. They infiltrated Judas for he could betray Jesus. Come on now. As soon he was in the garden, he was praying, Judas came up to Jesus and he's like, "Oh, Rabbi, I've seen you." And he gives him a kiss on the cheek. And what does Jesus say? This is how you betray the Son of God, with a kiss. And it was right after the kiss, the gate swung open and the guards came in, the soldiers, the Pharisees, all waiting behind that door, the gate. The gate was closed, but it was not until he engaged and he had the kiss on the cheek. It was the intimacy. It was the intimacy, and the more intimate you're with a person, the more you're able to do with that person. The more you engage with that person, whether it be from a handshake, okay, a handshake, then it goes down to a hug, then a kiss, then sex, and then whatnot. But it was the intimacy, the kiss. It was the kiss that opened that door for the soldiers, for the Pharisees, for the guards to all come rushing in and have Jesus bound. Come on now. I know that hits something. I know you're looking at your left, you're looking at the right, you're looking at, hey, wait up, hold up. It's not the ones on the outside you have to watch out for. It's the ones in your own dang circle. And it's the ones who you call mother and father. It's the ones you call brother and sister. It's the one you call cousin, aunt, uncle. It's your best friend. Sometimes it's your lover. Those are the only ones who really have access to you in the spirit and in the physical. So I'm telling you, the whole thing about, accepting you as default, you have to use your wisdom and your discernment on who's who and who's with God and who does witchcraft. Your wisdom and discernment better be on key, because those will be the key roles and points on if they have access to put witchcraft on you. All they need is a soul tie from an agreement, and a covenant comes in, a soul tie, and from that soul tie comes in, they put that soul tie, they put that soul fragment on an altar, and from that altar they're able to curse you. And this all goes down in the spirit. You don't know what's going on in the dreams. You don't know what's going on in your dreams. You have been bounded. They put a veil over your eyes, and you can't even see. It's black, and it's all black, pitch black in there. Why? Because they have you bound, and now they're able to do whatever they want with you and your body, and they rob you blind. Why? Because somewhere you've made an agreement and covenant with someone, and you call them a best friend,